Hello everyone, welcome to Healthy Options with Maureen. Today we'll be making mango sorbet and I want to use this as a filling for my mango tartlet. So the end goal is the mango tartlet, but we need the mango sorbet as a filling. This is the pre-made one. I already made this with about 1,000 grams of mango. It has to be frozen. As you can see, this is frozen. I made this with about 1,000 gram mango and 1 large banana, 2 tablespoons honey and half a cup of coconut milk. Now I'm going to make just a small portion to show you how I got this particular texture. So the first thing you do is you put everything in the blender. Like I said, the mango has to be frozen. This is frozen, so I have to get it out as gently as possible. Then we add the bananas in it. I'll be using just about a teaspoon of honey in this particular sorbet I'm making because it's about half of what the original recipe calls for. Then our coconut milk. We close and we blend. I will give the blender a swirl as we blend because as you can notice, we don't have much fluid in the blender. So I will swirl the blender around myself to cause a swirl that will help it blend better. So at this point, you can see the smooth consistency of the sorbet. The color may be different due to the mango we used. This one may not be as ripe as red as this, but it tastes basically the same thing. So the next step is to pour this out to a plastic container, keep it shut and store it in the freezer for about 8 to 10 hours or overnight. So at this point, we're about making the third base. We have 1¾ cup old-fashioned oats already toasted. I'll tell you how I went about toasting it. I just put 1¾ cups of old-fashioned oats into this pan and I toasted at 175 degrees for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I poured about 1/4 cup of coconut milk and sprinkled salt all over it and mixed together with a spoon, of course, because it was already warm. Then I returned it into the oven and toasted further for another 15 minutes. Then I allowed it cool. We have some crunchy oats now that will bliss in the food processor to give us oat flour. Now to commence the base, I already started depicted 20 dates. This is the 20th one I repeated and I cut into bits like this. And I went about cutting it this way. I don't want it all mushy because I want to see bits of dates in the tart by the time it's ready. So the next step now is to go about blissing this in the food processor to give us the oat flour we are looking for. I will just put this in the dry mill section of my food processor and I'll bliss. This is the first batch. You can see it's giving us the oat flour now. Toasting your oats helps add flavor to it. You could use it ordinarily without toasting, but It adds a certain flavor to it that gives some level of depth to the tart by the time it's ready. So that's why I always prefer to get it toasted. So we have all the oats already in the flour form now. The next step is to add the 20 dates that has already been chopped. And here we have about half cup of coconut milk. We'll be adding about half cup of coconut milk. We may not necessarily need up to half cup. We may need a little short, but I always prefer having half cup just in case we need a little more. At this point, I'll use my hand. I'll get in with my hand to bring everything together. As we can see, we have just the right amount. It's always very important not to use everything. You start adding bits of the coconut milk so that you don't get it too wet. So we have just the right amount at this stage. Now we form into balls. We form into 12 balls because we are going to shape it into this tart pan. This is actually a muffin pan, but it will serve as my pan that I will use for the tart. So I will shape into 12 balls. Then I will now mold it into the muffin pans to give me little tarts. This is where we do a little bit of work. I already have my pan prepared. I greased, then I lined with waxing paper. You could also use a silicone pan if you have one, but I'm making use of this pan. That's why I lined it so it doesn't stick. So it's pretty easy to mold. You just use your fingers and you press into the pan, and as you press along the walls of the muffin pan so as to stretch it. Like I said, it's a very easy dough to manage and pretty easy to get into the shape we want it to. So that's one done. So you just continue until you fill in the whole muffin pan. So at this point we are done molding the tart into the pan. So I'm going to put it in the oven now at 175 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until it gets golden brown. So at this point it's out of the oven. Remember, we baked at 175 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes, a little bit less or a little bit more depending on how your oven functions. So we are going to get it off the muffin pans now, and like I said, it's pretty easy to get out. You just lift it out and remove the waxing paper from the base. So I'll allow it to cool completely, then we'll fill with the mango sorbet, then top with the toasted nuts. So we're about to fill in the sorbet in the tart right now. We'll fill in, then we'll now place some cashew nuts on it. I kind of made it a bit crunchy by putting it in the oven. I put a little bit of honey, a pinch of salt, then a bit of butter, and I tossed it all together and put it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes at 175 degrees, and it came out like this. We have crunchy cashew nuts for the toppings. You can also use almonds as well. I actually prefer almonds, but I ran out of almonds. That's why I'm using cashew nuts. So now we'll just fill in with the mango saute, and we will place some of the cashew nuts on top. Depending on whether you're into nuts or not, you can totally leave this stage out. So that's it. We have your mango tartlets topped with the cashew nuts. You can actually leave this in the fridge, the tart base. You can leave this in the fridge and serve it whenever you have guests or whenever you want to take it. You don't have to fill it in immediately. You can make this and leave in the fridge, and you can store this also in the freezer. And whenever you need it, you bring it out and thaw it so that it's a little bit melted. Then you scoop into your tart and top with the cashew nuts. This is something we can use during the festive season. The festive season is approaching now, and this makes a very healthy dessert. Whenever you have guests and you serve them up this, I can assure you they will like it. Everyone that has tasted it has enjoyed it. I hope you try this out and let us know what you think about this. Thank you.